Welcome to Softech Coding. This is the 22nd episode of our Coding with Scratch series. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I am continuously going to make videos. Welcome back to those who have already watched past episodes, including the past parts of this project. But if you're just beginning to code or you don't have that background knowledge, I would highly recommend starting from episode 1. And if you could please also share this video with your friends and family, that would be great. Alright, let's get started. So, now what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be moving the code that we wrote for music notes into its clones, because we don't want music notes to have this code in itself. So I'm just going to separate this from here and put it to when I start as a clone. And I want to do it like this. Alright, so we want when green flag clicked, this can start. But we want our music note to ask about difficulty. So I want our music note to go, let's say here, so motion, go there, and I want it to go to sensing and ask which level of difficulty would you like? 1, 2, or 3. So I'm just gonna pull this away. Yep, it's going to go there. So now what we're going to do is go to Control, pull out 3 if blocks, actually 4. 1 for each number and 1 for if they do something else. So actually we can do an if else for the last one. So we have 3 ifs and 1 else. Alright, so now we're going to go to our forever block and we're going to put that there. So if we're going to pull out our sensing, and we need to pull out 3, just 1 is fine actually. So answer is equal to. So I'm just going to click on this and do Control C or Command C and paste it and drag it into here. So if answer equals 1, if answer equals 2, if answer equals 3, and else. So if our answer is 1, we want it to create clones every so often, so not as quickly. So we're going to go into Control, pull out our create clone of myself, and pull out a wait block. So let's say you want it to make maybe, for example, 2 seconds or maybe 1 second between each one. So it's really easy to manage catching them. And we can just pull out a wait one for each one, not for the else, and create clone of myself for each one. So if the answer is 2, we want it to be pretty hard. Maybe it waits half a second before making a clone of itself and it starts to come down again, so it's a little bit harder. And if you're going 3, you're trying to make it really hard, maybe 1/10 of a second. And we can adjust this with the game as we go on. And we can also, but we forgot something. We need to see what we want to do for the else. So we need to figure out what we want to do if it says else. So if you guys remember, we need to pull out the stop all block for else because we want to end the game. And it should say, sorry, that answer doesn't compute, and please try again typing the number 1, 2, or 3, and then it stops everything. So, sorry, that answer doesn't compute, maybe like 3 seconds. Please try again typing the number 1, 2, or 3, maybe like 5 seconds. You want to make sure they're able to read that part. So, now let's see if it works. So when goes clicked, which level of difficulty would you like? 1, 2, or 3? So we're going to test all of them. So 1, something's gone wrong, I see. So what I want to go is go into sensing and see the answer. So forever, if answer equals 1, if answer equals 2, and if answer equals 3. Oh, I see what we did wrong here. Since the answer isn't 3 and the answer is 1, it says, sorry, that answer doesn't compute. So instead of doing this, we need a separate if block for the last one. Well, that didn't work, but that's okay. That's how we experiment and figure things out in code. So I'm just going to pull this back in here, pull this back in here, and if, okay, this is going to be a little bit harder then. Let me pull this up because we're going to need a little bit of space for that last one. All right, so I'm just going to pull these up too because that last one's going to need a little bit of room. Or, and not, and this. So let me stop this. So if answer is not, okay, I'm just gonna click on this. So this, what these two is, this if answer is not equal to 1, you can copy this. Or we can just do it like this. So we're gonna do if answer is equal to 1, or answer is equal to, make sure the right one is highlighted so that you put it in the right spot. So if answer is not equal to 1 or 2 or 3, then we're going to say, sorry, that answer doesn't compute. So just remember, you put two ors into each other to make this or. And if you want to make even more, you can just put another one in there, and another one in there, or another one in here, or another one in here. So you can make as many as you like, this or this or this or this or this or this or this for future projects. I'm just going to delete all of them. But for this project, we just needed 2. So if the answers are not 1 or 2 or 3, then we're going to say it doesn't compute. Try to read out your code like it's normal language, normal English, so that you can realize, oh, I understand what that means. So now we're going to try the difficulty of 1. So our problem here, the sound is a little bit annoying. So our problem here, it is a little bit too fast, so we can slow it down. But our problem here is that this music note stays there. So once we finish, whatever we do, we want to make sure it hides. So after it checks the answer, then I want it to hide. So let's see if it works. Let's say I want the difficulty of 3. So, oh my god. It's actually not that difficult to get them all, as long as you're very, very, very fast. Actually, it is a little bit impossible. But anyways, I think the first thing we should do is take out the sound, because it's very annoying once you start to get a lot of them. Alright, so let's do it like this. If your answer is 1, then it waits 3 seconds. If your answer is 2, then it waits 1 second. And I just want to keep 3 as that very, very, very hard one. We can make it even this much. Let's see what happens. I wanted 3. The first one comes, and then the next one. And then comes the whole swarm of them. Oh god, okay, but this is just because it's very, very funny. Alright, you guys can just change the amount that you want for the third one, but let's be realistic. Oh, so now what happened was we forgot to add a show block, so it just wrote it here. That's really interesting. Actually, I don't think that's a bad idea. But the only problem with that, no, it didn't happen. So I was worried that if it was hiding, then the music notes would also be hiding. But that didn't happen. So that's really cool. So one thing I think we need to do, so when Go is clicked, it just asks it here. So I think that's really cool. I think we should keep that. So this just stays hiding forever. The clones are the ones that show. All right? I want to go back to trumpet and actually make it slow down, because it's so fast, it's very efficient, and it's getting these music notes like it's nothing. So we want to make sure that our trumpet doesn't make it too easy for us to win the game. So we're going to reduce these numbers, not enough that it's annoying, but enough that it's really hard to win the harder levels. So like for example, number 2, First, it starts off a little slowly, and then once we get a little bit more, I actually think this is much better because it's much harder to get them all at once because it increases speed much slower. Actually, maybe we should increase it even less because if we make it less, then it's harder to get them, so it's more fun to try and get them. So now it's much harder, but it's kind of impossible. So let's just leave it at all of them 1. Let's see what happens. So you guys can experiment, see what you think it is. Now it's increasing too much. So I'm not sure. Why do you guys think that it's increasing so much? So what we're going to do is pull out here. Instead of using hide and show, which we forgot to change, if you remember I mentioned in another episode that we were going to be replacing the hide and show with delete this clone, which we forgot to do. We're just going to pull out the delete this clone, and yeah, so if you do not manage to touch it, or if it touches the trumpet, then that clone just gets deleted. Oh, and we forgot to make it show in the beginning, so we have to make sure they show, because there we go. Now they're all showing up. So now, as you can see, it's slowed down significantly. All right. So we can also make them go down faster. If we change the Y by, let's say, -7, they go down much faster. And we can also change this according to difficulty. You know how we can do that? If we go to operators, all right, and we pull out this addition, because multiplication would be really mean, all right? So what if we have the change Y by as, let's say, 4, and depending on the difficulty you chose, so sensing, we're going to pull out our answer, so it's going to change Y by 4 plus your answer. So if you choose a difficulty of 1, then it's going to change Y by, oh, we forgot to make it a negative. So operators, remember, we have to make it a negative. So 0 minus 4 plus your answer. So if you chose 3 as your difficulty, which is the hardest one, it's going to make it go down by -7, which is really, really fast. If you chose 2, then it's going to go down by, so 4 plus 2 makes 6, so it's going to go down by -6, because 0 minus 6 is -6. So now we're going to see, for example, if we choose difficulty of 2, it's going to go down faster than if we were to choose a difficulty of 1. All right, but if you choose a difficulty of 3, it's going to go super fast, and there's going to be a lot of them. And if you choose a difficulty of 1, then it's going to be much slower. Where are the music notes? See, it's going to be 1 in quite a while. Let's make it a little bit speedier, you know. That's a little bit boring. So now it's a little bit faster, so every second it makes 1 come down. This is very easy. So now we have our 3 different levels of difficulty, and we determined them by how many clones there are, how fast they're cloning themselves, and how fast they're going down. All right? Hey, if you look here, look at our score. As soon as we touch one, all right, it increases, but then it goes back to 0. But I didn't see anything, so let's see what's going on. Oh my God. When it starts as a clone, it sets the score to 0 because we did this for when the green flag was clicked and we didn't change the code once we did it as when it started as a clone. So we have to put this out. So sometimes bugs are like that. You suddenly find them in the most unexpected places. But that's okay. It happens to all programmers. And now that we figured it out, this is awesome. All right, so let's see if this works. So one thing we do need to do, though, is we do need to reset the score once green flag is clicked. So we're going to reset our score to 0 when green flag is clicked. So I'm going to set the difficulty to 2. And every time you touch the musical note, it does do it. And every time you don't, it decreases the score. Wonderful. Now, what we need to do is we need to change our backdrop to maybe like a musical theater or something. So we're going to choose a backdrop. Let's see what we have here. We have a concert. That's not a bad idea. And we have spotlight. I think I liked the concert the best. Let's go to the concert. Oh, that didn't work. Concert. There we go. It is a little bit busy. What if we try this? we go to backdrop 1, we click on the musical notes, we click copy, and we go there, and we paste it. Now we have to make sure it's grouped. And then what we do is we have it rotate, we copy and paste it, we have it maybe here, and paste it. Maybe there's one here too. And what we can do to make sure everyone knows that these are different ones is have them have different gradients. So for example, we have these gradients for here. I'm going to have the other kind of gradient for this part. And we can have 2 different colors for the other one, for example, maybe blue and green. Just making sure that they're different colors from the other notes that we decided on. And I'm just going to do this one for this part. And finally, we have the last one, which we can do as maybe, how about yellow and green? That's not a bad idea. So you have a yellow and green. Now that's too similar to the other one. So what if we try it as a red and orange? That's not a bad idea. So you fill it up. And we have the other gradient for the other notes. So now this can be our background. So if we go to code, here, I just want to do one thing. We want to click, if you uncheck speed, it won't show anymore. And if you click on sensing and you uncheck answer, it won't show anymore. So I don't want answer to be seen. The only thing we want to be seen is the score. So I want to choose the level, let's say 2. And now we've got our music notes coming down, and our background has a few musical notes on it, and it looks pretty cool. And finally, what we can do with our background is we can actually make a square, fill it up, and put it in the back. And we can make it like a blue that's very light, and sure, an orange that's very light, and that can be our background. So that looks really cool, actually. And that can be our little game that we have here. And what we've done is we have used variables for the speed. We have used lots of code using clones for the actual musical notes. And it's really advanced code, and it's really cool, and it's a really fun game. So thanks for watching. We have lots of other videos, and many more are coming. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And if you could share this video with your friends and family and smash that like button, that would be great. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I will see you in the next episode. Cheerio!